building blocks with which Hashem made every person different than the other one. That's called mazolus, mazel, and kochovim, stars. Now, there's a Toshus in Brachos, in Daf Nun Hey Amid Beis. The Gemara talks about posrei chalomus. There were the people that they knew how to, how do you say it? Interpret dreams. And there are people that they knew how to do it. Says Toshus, Pirish Ri, the Mazel Shas Halei de Gorim. There are certain people that were born with in the minute that they were born, so Hashem put into them the hour of their birth, put into them these kochos that they're able to interpret dreams. It's not totally an understanding. Like you might think you understand a certain thing. I once had a dream that I'm standing on a ledge in Bukharim, a very high ledge, like a building, a wall, very high wall that went straight up, very high, had a ledge and it went up high, and I'm standing on the ledge, I'm looking a little down on Rachavi Chazko, I'm so scared I'm going on the... Now, I think that anybody who has certain avona could interpret such a thing. I'm afraid, you're scared, whatever. Toshus says no. The interpretation has to do with the mazel shas halei, the Toshus says. That these people that were born in a certain time have a certain power of interpreting dreams. And when they interpret dreams, it really happens that way. Now, that means there's such a thing as Shas Halei, and everybody knows the Gemara in the end of Shabbos, that the Gemara tells about the hours with which a person is born, and the Gemara says that whoever was born in the mazel of the sun will be like this, and mazel of the moon, Koch of Noga, Venus, he'll be a rich person. Now, that means the astrology is something that's already mentioned in Hazal way back. Nowadays, they have a certain signon of astrology, which the astrology of nowadays tells much more than what's mentioned in the Gemara. And you have to know how to fit the Gemara's astrology with modern astrology. But modern astrology is something you see that it works with many examples that you see that it's true. Now, you want to start arguing with me? I'm not going into those that believe or don't believe, but in general, let's talk more on a shitchi level, on a superficial level. You see, it's true. Let's take an example. There's some people that are very quiet, and some people are very loud. There's some people, like I know for myself, and again I apologize for talking about myself, but I know that if somebody hurts my feelings, I remember it years and years and years. I have a story that happened in the Mir Yeshiva 40 years ago in the Mir Yeshiva. 11:45. And every once in a while I remember it and feel the pain. On the other hand, I have a brother-in-law that I saw with my own eyes how another brother-in-law criticized him, was mevayish him barabim for something, for a story that he said. And a half a year later, I remind him he had no memory of at all that such a thing happened. And the criticism that he criticized him in public was unjustified. He was wrong. The older brother-in-law was mamish wrong, and it came from not really understanding and hearing what this one said. Came half a year later. I don't remember. And I remember it's already 4, 5, 6, 7 years that went by, and I still remember it. How could he do such a thing? How could he not understand it? And he forgot altogether.
You could ask me, I can explain.
And the astrologer that we know he has an explanation, and by him it's Sidbu Aleph based by him to explain it. Now, it's very clear that there is such a thing. Now, in general, there are 12 mazolos in the sky. The sky is divided up, and now don't ask me about the astronomy of it, because that I for sure don't know. But what I can tell you is that every hour that a person is born, every person is born under a certain sign, which means that the sun is in a certain place in the sky in the time that he was born. And the sky is broken up into 12 parts, and the sun goes around. And don't start telling me the sun is in the middle, the world goes around. Let it be, the world goes around. But there are 12 places which the sun was there when he was born. Let's take, for example, the first sign is called Aries, and that's anybody that was born from March 21st till April 20th. So he's called Aries. Now, what is his guiding principle? In this book, they say it, mamish, in
Are you going to show us the book?
And the name of the book is Keywords for Astrology. And this is the book, which is a very good book, but I'm not I say mamlitz, I'm not suggesting this as the first book you read. It's the first book you read in astrology is definitely Linda Goodman's Sun Signs, which I don't know if there's time to explain it, but that's where you get the basics. But over here, they give everything in short. Now, the Aries, which is the first sign, which is Be'erech in Chodesh Nisan, the first of the signs, from March 21st to April 20th. Now, they call him the fighter, and when they talk about guiding principle, the guiding principle is I want. Now, just because I can't resist talking about myself, so the Virgo, which is from August 23rd till September 22nd, so the guiding principle is I take it literally, or I examine, which that I know from experience that that's more. Now, a task in life is critically examining everything for its suitability. Now, examining, because in one word, examining. That's Virgo. Since the one sitting with us, our Choshev producer, he is a Taurus, which is from April 21st till May the 20th. So his guiding principle is I possess, I maintain, or I wait. Don't know. Anyway, his task in life is preserving what has been tested by time, developing enjoyments of the pleasures of life. Anyway, all these, now, besides that, these are the 12 places where the sun is in the sky. There's also other stars. There's the moon, there's Mercury. Mercury is like the brain. And I mean, you have to know where, let's say, for example, Mercury, where was Mercury when he was born? You have Venus. Venus is beauty, the sense of aesthetics. And where was Venus when the person was born? I'll give you an example. Let's say Venus in Taurus. Venus was in that part of the sky that's called Taurus. So well, what's his strength? His strength is natural sense of sensuality, strong capacity for devotion, capable of enjoyment, content, attractive, faithful, yeah. Venus is in Taurus, they're faithful, yeah. Anyway, the astrology is the building blocks of the personality, and that's what Hashem when he sends down a neshama to the world, which Toshis in Brochus Nur, I think it was Nun Ham and Beit, Toshis calls it Mazel Shas HaLeder. So Hashem decided to send the neshama down in this hour, because in this hour all these powers are shining in, and when he's born, these powers will shine into him, and he'll have in his personality these kochas. And then he will have these and these nisyonos. Let's say the more sensitive person will have a nisyon to just live with all the things that bother him, and the things that irritate him. What we call the airy person, the person that's with, I didn't explain yet the 4 Yesodis, which is Eish, Ruach, Mayim, Ofor, which is also the 12 signs, are divided into these 4 Yesodis. And we're going to have to finish soon now because our producer has to go. But what we call the airy people, they are not sensitive at all. They just let it go. So he said, so what? And their nishayan in life is to overcome that so what, and listen to what's the Dvar Hashem, what's now this minute, there's no so what. I got up late. So what if I woke up late? So what? No! You woke up late, now I have to think, what's the avodah of waking up late? You woke up early, what's the avodah of waking up early? Your wife said a shtus. Yeah, what's the avodah of your wife saying a shtus? And v'chul, and no end to the nisyonos that a person goes through. That is for the lightweight person. But the heavyweight person, which is, for example, the Virgo or the Taurus, they're nisyonos. All this is what you call astrology, and it's definitely a very deep chokhmah. And
the Meiri says Chachma Mufuera says that.
Chachma Mufuera, wow, yeah. And I would say in English, I would call it, besides calling it a chachma, I would call it an art, because it's not enough to read books and to just recite what it says in the book. You have to have the skill, the feeling, and it's a way how to classify people, and to know this person is like this one is like that. And it's a way, I would also say it's a way of being done l'kav zchus. Like, it's not his fault, he's this and this type. Like Lamosha, we know a famous story that happened, that somebody took and was mazik the other person that was living in a machsan, in a cellar. He was living, and because she had anything, and the other person, he threw him out. He took out all his possessions and threw them out in the street. Mamish, a terrible thing. And we know it came 30 years later. The person forgot altogether how that would happen. On the other hand, we have people that 50 years later they remembered exactly how. You remember Shmuel David Torres?
Yes, Shmuel David Torres, yeah.
So he was able to tell me how Rabban Kotler, what niggin he said a certain shir, and he remembered what inyan it was, and what he said and how he said it, and how a certain person that he told me the name of the person, how he asked in the middle, and what the feeling was when he asked in the middle. And this was like 50 years later. He told me why. Because that's a person that he lives in it's all serious. Every little thing is serious thing. But why is it that some people are not like that? I can't understand. I don't understand that. Because I'm also like that. But why are they like that? The astrology has the answer. What are the building blocks that built him? And that's why it's a chokhmah mufuara, like the Meiri says. And that's what makes each person have different nisyonos. And each person has a different shmias dvar Hashem. Because of that, Hashem should help us all. Everybody should overcome his nisyonos.
Thank you, Rabbi
Everybody
Kaplan.
should be mitzvah.